I was blessed, to make smart investments, outside the ring, just in the real estate world and a lot of other places that I was able to put my family in a position that, I took the long road so they could take the short road.
You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop.
I gave the sport of boxing my whole life. I dedicated my whole life to the sport of boxing. And all I ever wanted to do was put my family, my mother, my father, in a comfortable position. My dad is a millionaire.
Floyd Mayweather fired back after Stephen A. Smith hinted that he might be having money troubles. In a cool and confident response, Mayweather brushed off the talk, saying, "People are always going to judge, whether you're doing well or not." He made it clear that no matter what you do in life, someone will always have an opinion. So, if people are going to talk, he'd rather they do it while he's living life on his own terms and doing what makes him happy. Mayweather said he's not out to please everyone, but if he can entertain them along the way, that's a bonus. His message stayed true to the image he's built over the years, someone who lives boldly, ignores the critics, and stays true to himself. With his usual calm but firm tone, he reminded everyone why he's not just a boxing icon, but also a savvy businessman and promoter. He's not backing down, and he's not changing. He's simply doing what he loves, the way he wants to do it.
People are going to always judge you. No matter if you're doing good, if you're doing bad, you're going to always be judged. So it's best that you be judged in doing what you want to do, because you can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody. So if you can't please everybody, try to entertain everybody if it's possible.
Floyd Mayweather recently shared the real reason behind his flashy lifestyle, and it's not just about showing off. According to him, the cars, private jets, and piles of cash are meant to inspire. He wants people to see that if he could rise from humble beginnings to this level of success, they can too. Mayweather explained that his goal is to motivate others. He believes his story proves that with hard work, discipline, and determination, anyone can change their life. He hopes people see what he's accomplished and feel encouraged to chase their own dreams. One of the most powerful things he revealed was about his real estate investments. He proudly owns 62 apartment buildings, and made it clear that he has no partners. Every single property is 100% his, showing how much thought and effort he's put into securing his financial future. For Mayweather, it's not just about boxing, it's about building something that lasts. He says he's been quietly working toward this dream for years. Behind the glitz and glamour is a serious businessman, focused on creating real wealth and leaving a lasting legacy. His message is simple: dream big, work hard, and don't be afraid to go after what you want.
Into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
Stephen A. Smith hasn't held back when it comes to criticizing Floyd Mayweather's choices after retiring from professional boxing, especially his 2021 exhibition fight against YouTuber-turned-boxer Logan Paul. Stephen A. The matchup wasn't about proving anything in the ring. He viewed it as a money-making stunt rather than a serious boxing event. Mayweather, once the undefeated king of the sport, was now facing someone with very little experience, something Stephen A. saw as a step down, not a step forward. He argued that the fight had no real competitive value and was more about boosting Mayweather's bank account than preserving his legacy. Stephen A. said it was disappointing to watch a fighter of Mayweather's caliber take part in what he called a spectacle, not a sport. In his view, the move took the spotlight off Mayweather's unmatched skills and put it on his financial interests. While Mayweather built a reputation as one of the greatest boxers of all time, Stephen A. believes this kind of event hurt that legacy by focusing more on entertainment and profit than on the sport itself.
Boxers, if not the greatest boxer in history. He's absolutely sensational. But he retired years ago, and for me personally, I know these exhibition matches are entertaining. I like the one with Conor McGregor, not so much the one with Logan Paul. Looking at these exhibitions and all of that stuff, that little melee and stuff don't matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, it could have potentially been orchestrated. I don't know. But I do know not just anybody should be allowed to be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather.
Absolutely.
I just believe.
Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly voiced concern about Floyd Mayweather's post-retirement exhibition fights, especially the kinds of opponents he's been choosing. While Smith felt the 2017 match against UFC star Conor McGregor made sense, given McGregor's background in combat sports, he was critical of the direction Mayweather took after that. In Smith's eyes, Mayweather began picking fights with people who weren't anywhere near his level, like YouTuber Logan Paul. To him, these matchups looked like quick ways to make money rather than real challenges. And that, he argued, went against everything Mayweather stood for during his prime. For Stephen A., boxing is about legacy, about testing yourself against the best. So watching Mayweather, once praised for his undefeated record and elite skill, take part in these less serious fights was disappointing. It made it seem like building wealth had become more important than protecting his place in boxing history. Smith made it clear, it's not about Mayweather earning money. He's worked hard for everything he has. The issue, he said, is the why behind these fights. When it's more about the paycheck than the competition, it chips away at the respect and legacy Mayweather spent a lifetime building.
Here's what I do know, which is where my disappointment comes from. When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it.
Stephen A. Smith has had a front-row seat to Floyd Mayweather's larger-than-life lifestyle, and one thing's for sure, it's hard to ignore the level of luxury surrounding him. One of the most eye-catching parts of Mayweather's wealth is his massive car collection. It's been said he owns over 100 vehicles, each more extravagant than the last. From rare Lamborghinis to one-of-a-kind Bugattis, his garage is packed with high-end, customized cars that most people can only dream of. Having known Floyd for years, Stephen A. has seen this all up close. And while the cars are just one piece of the puzzle, they represent the wealth, status, and love for luxury that define Mayweather's world.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo, Bugatti. Let's walk over here. I'll show you a couple toys. They call this the $1 million garage.
I know we're on television, Floyd, but I think it's necessary for me to say, damn.
Floyd Mayweather's love for luxury cars is just one part of his extravagant lifestyle. He's also known for spending millions on high-end jewelry, designer watches, and other lavish symbols of success. Whether it's through his social media or interviews, Floyd never shies away from showing off his wealth. Stephen A. Smith understands there's more to Mayweather's fortune than just boxing. He sees the sharp businessman behind the flashy image, someone who's built a powerful brand around the Money Mayweather persona. Floyd didn't just earn his riches in the ring, he multiplied them through smart investments and strategic deals. Smith gives Mayweather credit where it's due. He acknowledges Floyd's unmatched discipline, work ethic, and drive to succeed. The way Mayweather has managed to keep his wealth growing and maintain such a high-profile lifestyle, even after retirement, speaks volumes about his business sense. He turned his name into an empire, proving he's more than just a boxing legend, he's a financial power.
Why? Talk to me about why you make the decision to drive different colored cars in respective cities.
Spoiled brat.
Oh, just being a brat?
Just being a brat.
The 7 cars that you showed me are in excess of $15 to $20 million.
Let me see what's the number. We go 3-1.
And you don't drive them.
It's close to 15 million. You're right. It's close to 15.
In a candid interview with sports commentator Stephen A. Smith, Floyd Mayweather was asked a simple but powerful question: what mattered more to him, his legacy or his money? Without hesitation, Mayweather said it had always been about the money. That answer cut straight to the heart of what many fans and critics have wondered about his post-retirement choices. Throughout his boxing career, Mayweather built a name as one of the all-time greats. He retired with an undefeated record and earned hundreds of millions through carefully selected fights and smart business deals. But in this moment, he made it clear, his top priority was building wealth, not just making history in the ring. He revealed he made over $800 million during his time as a pro fighter. While that number is staggering, it also tells the story of a man whose main drive, especially later in his career, was financial success. Stephen A., who has followed Mayweather's journey closely, seemed surprised by the honesty. It also added weight to the criticism Mayweather has faced in recent years, particularly around his exhibition bouts with far less experienced opponents, like Logan Paul. To Stephen A., these fights weren't about competition or legacy, they were about the check. In the end, Mayweather's story might be remembered just as much for his fortune as for his time in the ring. And for Floyd, that seems to be exactly the way he wants.
I've already, in the sport of boxing, I've already made somewhere upwards of 800 million.
You made money. You're gonna make a hell of a lot more money.
But the main thing is, I made smart investments, and I still make millions every month.
Do you care about your boxing legacy?
More than what?
Well, we ain't gonna say more than money. We know better. We're not gonna say more than money. We know better.
More than my family? No. So what's more important? My children. Because when I make this money, you know what?
Stephen A. Smith has raised concerns about the influence Floyd Mayweather's money-centered image is having on the next generation of athletes. In Smith's view, young fighters today aren't looking up to Mayweather for his incredible boxing skills, sharp footwork, or brilliant ring strategy. Instead, they're drawn to the wealth, the flash, and the larger-than-life persona he built around money. Smith sees this shift as troubling for the future of boxing. He believes that focusing solely on the financial reward sends the wrong message to up-and-coming athletes, that getting rich is more important than mastering the sport. Mayweather's rise was once seen as a tribute to hard work, discipline, and talent. But now, Smith worries that it's being seen more as a formula for making money than for achieving greatness in the ring. He fears this mindset could hurt the sport in the long run, stripping away the values that made boxing special, like dedication, skill, and the will to prove yourself against the best. To Smith, boxing should always be about the craft, not just the cash.
It's the businessman in Mayweather they actually love even more. As the sun clearly set on the boxing career of Mayweather, many can reflect on a lot of things about the man. He wasn't a Mike Tyson-like knockout artist, or even Tommy the Hitman Hearns. To many, he wasn't even Sugar Ray Leonard. He certainly can't be confused with Muhammad Ali or any other fighter who's ever been socially conscious. No doubt he was guilty of domestic violence, as our very own The Undefeated accurately pointed out. He definitely had his share of boring fights that didn't give the people what they actually wanted to see. But that ain't the legacy these athletes are paying attention to. What they're paying attention to instead is the $1 billion plus Mayweather has earned in his career. How box office he made himself. How he's been his own boss, answerable to no commissioner, no owner, no GMs, and barely even the fans for the last decade in achieving unprecedented wealth, fame, and control of his own name, his own brand. And how despite strenuous efforts by so many to bring him down, they simply weren't able to do it. You want to see an athlete drool? The idolized displaying deference and respect? Watch!
Stephen A. Smith has often questioned whether Floyd Mayweather's constant focus on money has come at the cost of his boxing legacy. But Mayweather has stood by his choices, explaining that his main goal was always to take care of his family. In a revealing interview, Floyd shared that he devoted his entire life to boxing so he could build financial security, not just for himself, but for his parents, his children, and even his future grandchildren. He said he worked hard to make sure his father and mother became millionaires and that the wealth he's built would benefit generations to come. Mayweather also pointed to the investments he's made with long-term goals in mind, saying his aim was never just to enjoy money now, but to create lasting success beyond his time in the ring. Despite the flashy displays of wealth, he insists that his heart has always been in providing for his family and giving back. He reminded people of moments like playing in a charity basketball game to support cancer patients just a day after a major fight. Proof, he said, that it's not all about the money. Even early in his career, before fully embracing the Money Mayweather persona, Floyd had a hard time with the idea that other fighters were earning more than him. A heated moment on ESPN with anchor Brian Kenny highlighted this, when it was suggested that Oscar de la Hoya was a bigger financial draw. That comment struck a nerve. Floyd felt that his skills and accomplishments should have put him at the top financially, too. That need to be recognized as the highest earner in boxing helped shape the brand he later became known for. For Mayweather, wealth wasn't just about material things, it was about validation, legacy, and making sure his success reached far beyond the ring.
So we already know what I can generate, we already know what I can do in the sport, and we already know who's the face of boxing.
You waited over a year to come back.
And I've been gone from the sport. And what these fighters done since I've been gone, together in pay-per-view, out of all the fighters, haven't topped what I've done in 2 fights.
The pay-per-view has been pretty good for Manny Pacquiao fights lately, Floyd.
They still haven't topped what I've done in 2 fights.
Well, one was with Oscar De La Hoya, who was the cash king.
I'm the cash cow, please.
Not compared to Oscar De La Hoya. Have you drawn as much as Oscar De La Hoya in pay-per-view,
Man,
Floyd?
De La Hoya been on pay-per-view 1,000 times. It took me two times, 3.5 million homes. Me, Floyd Mayweather.
No, with Oscar De La Hoya, though.
Oscar De La Hoya didn't do nothing. Did he win?
It was a split decision loss, as a matter of fact.
Come on, man.
That early jealousy of not being the highest paid fighter became a driving force in Mayweather's career. It pushed him to carefully select high-profile, high-paying fights, with an emphasis on maximizing his earnings, even if that meant facing opponents who weren't necessarily the toughest competitors. His focus shifted from traditional goals like legacy building to securing big paydays. Mayweather's desire for financial dominance changed how he approached boxing, influencing the sport by placing more value on the money than on the competition. His refusal to be out-earned by anyone set the stage for the later part of his career, one defined by spectacle-driven, money-focused bouts, including the controversial exhibition matches that marked his post-retirement years.
Well, like I said before, Oscar De La Hoya is doing one hell of a job. We got Mayweather Promotions.
What does that have to do with what I just asked?
It's the past, the present, and the future of sports and entertainment. And I think that Leonard Ellaby and Al Heyman is doing a hell of a job as my advisors.
Why not face the winner of the Pacquiao-Marquez fight?
I just answered your question.
No, you didn't. I must have missed it. What are you talking about?
I said Al Heyman and Leonard Ellaby are my advisors, and they done one hell of a job with Floyd Mayweather's career.
So they didn't want you to face Pacquiao right away?
I'm not ducking and dodging nobody. You know what it is.
No, what is it? Is Bob Arum?
I got a list. Whenever it happens, it happens.
Is it because Pacquiao's promoter is Bob Arum? Is that the reason?
Well, you got to talk to Bob Arum, not me.
Tank Davis has pointed out that Mayweather's reluctance to let any fighter surpass his achievements reveals an ego-driven approach that could hold back the growth of new talent. Davis suggests that this insecurity reflects a deeper, fragile self-esteem that wealth and success alone can't hide. By trying to keep others from outshining him, Mayweather may unintentionally be hindering the progress of the sport. This mindset, driven by the fear of being overshadowed, can't last forever. It risks leading to isolation, both in his personal life and in his professional career. The situation highlights the dangers of letting one's ego dictate their legacy, rather than embracing the natural evolution of boxing.
Mayweather set you up against Pedraza. Did you really think Pedraza was going to beat you?
He didn't know how good I was and how I would handle the situation, so he just threw me out there.
Why do you think he's not hurt?
He was hurt. I mean, not even hurt. He was just bad. First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. Why the fuck would you say Terrence Crawford should fight Benavidez? That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
You're next in line. He's next in line.
Is there like a
last question, guys?
Is there like a love-hate for like fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And he because I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this, I'm that, and it just I don't know.
Famous for showing off his wealth, whether it's posting pictures of stacks of cash, flaunting luxury watches, or showcasing his expensive lifestyle. His constant display of financial success became a big part of the Money Mayweather persona he built. However, this lavish lifestyle didn't come without its critics. Oscar De La Hoya, for one, warned that athletes like Floyd, who spend extravagantly and flaunt their fortunes, often face financial trouble later in life. Although De La Hoya's comments might have seemed harsh at the time, they pointed to a real concern: the unsustainable nature of living beyond your means without proper planning. As time passed, it appeared that Mayweather's extravagant spending eventually caught up with him. Despite his early financial success, reports started to suggest that he had mismanaged his wealth, becoming more vulnerable financially. This shift, from his early money-making persona to later struggles, served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of excess without careful financial management.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, limited edition AP, all factory, 1.8 million right here. The $20 bills section, We like to call this the Andrew Jackson section, but I like to call it wallpaper. 200,000 in 20s. I heard in the song you can get the biggest Chanel bag in the store if you want it. Well, this is the biggest Chanel bag in the world. I got this bag from Karl Lagerfeld. R.I.P. May he rest in peace. Money getting like myself, always showing out, always talking like 1.8 million. You know how it is. Check it out. Let them know it's all hundreds. Money made all and